leave your cell phone on. You can think, my gosh, who would do that? Well, I put it in here for a reason. So don't even bring your cell phone in the room. You don't even need to have your cell phone in the room. Unless you really think you're just going to call somebody. We don't allow lifelines. Like you can call somebody now for help. So just don't bring your cell phone, because we don't do that. Okay. Is that your final answer? Don't chew gum. Don't freak out. You're like, well, easy for you to say, Dr. Snyder. We do know you're nervous. We know that. So, again, we try to put the student at ease, and we try to help you relax. And we know that, you know, if you weren't under pressure, you might even be a little more savvy and articulate than you normally would be. When you're nervous, you are feel a little more stumped or a little more under pressure. But we do things to help draw out information. We ask questions. We don't expect you to walk into the room and sit down before your committee and to begin spewing forth the spouting of knowledge. We don't expect that at all. You know, we don't put you in a hot seat and go, okay, you're on. We have questions and we guide and we facilitate. And sometimes, if you don't know the answer, just say, you know, I don't know that, but I know how I could get that information. I do know where I can locate that information. And that's valuable. You know, even, I mean, faculty don't have all the answers, but the important thing is how can you access your resources and get information. So that's important. Don't let that become your answer for everything. I don't know that, but I'll get back to you on that. Do dress professionally. I think dressing professionally really demonstrates your seriousness. It says that you are a professional and that you're taking the process very seriously. So do dress professionally. Do be conscientious about what you wear. I think that really is part of professionalism. And also part of being professional is using terms associated with your field and being articulate. That's all about being a professional. I think some of the beliefs that faculty have and some of the things that we think about when the student has gone through the writtens and now they're in the orals process. What we're looking for, and when we're looking at you as a professional and you're responding to questions, is we know that we're going to send you out into your field. Gerontology, FCS, aesthetics. We're sending you out there and you're representing us. And you will have, hopefully received your master's degree from the School of Family Consumer Sciences, from the Gerontology program, from Eastern Illinois University. And if we send you out there, you know, that's kind of with our stamp of approval. And so we want to send someone into their field for an interview, for example. We want to send you in there as a true professional saying, yes, this student represents us well, they have earned that master's degree, and they have received our stamp of approval. That's very important, how you are representing the school and Eastern Illinois University. And we do think about those things. If an orals process has not gone well, sometimes faculty have maybe talked about, you know, we can't sign off and we can't send them out into the field and let them graduate because they haven't mastered the knowledge. And we think about, what if someone asked them this really pretty much basic question about their field and they weren't able to respond to it. And now this person, professional in the field, is saying, you know, I can't believe that this person has a master's degree from the School of Family and Consumer Sciences and they aren't able to even get through this interview and answer some very basic questions about their field. So those are things that you have to think about, and those are things that we think about. Do prepare, prepare, prepare. I can't emphasize that enough. You know that the orals are pretty much based on your writtens. So if you've seen your writtens, which of course you will have, or you're going to be at the orals, then you know what's on the writtens. even the question that you did not select to respond to. You can expect questions. So think about, okay, this is the one that I did not answer, but prepare for it. Prepare to talk about that question. And maybe you didn't choose it because you thought, well, I didn't feel as strong, so I'm just going to kind of avoid that. It'll come back to you, so you'll need to prepare. And then maybe on a question that you did write on, you're thinking, ooh, I was a little weak on this particular thing. I didn't really talk about it enough. I didn't talk about it in the way I wanted to because maybe you ran out of time. Maybe you got a little bit nervous, you got a little bit stumped, but you knew that you knew more. But that's your opportunity then in orals to talk. Or if you really felt that you were very weak in a particular area, you wrote about it, but you just really think that you presented it in the best light possible, you have a chance now in orals to talk about it. So don't just think, ooh, got those writtens done, now I just have to go to my orals and answer a few questions and I'm done. So you still need to prepare. It's like it's not over just because you went through the writtens. There's still a lot of preparation to do now for orals. Because now you've seen the question, so that right there gives you a lot to think about. So you have an opportunity to study. You have a chance to focus on questions that you did not answer. All right, the orals process. Okay, so you know that you go through orals, but you think, well, I go into this room and then what happens to me? First of all, you'll go into your room and you'll have your advisor and then your 2 committee members. So you'll have 3 faculty there. And the first thing is they have you talk about why you came to the program, maybe what your undergrad was, or where you came from if it wasn't from Eastern, and just so talk a little bit about yourself and what brought you to the program and what your plans are. Are you finishing an internship? Are you going to be going into an internship? What would you like to do after you get the degree? So just to talk a little bit about yourself, because we find that very interesting. We want to know what brought you to this point and where are you going after this. So that's how we begin. Then we explain the process to you about here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with this, and then we'll move on to that. So here's the process then. We begin with questions. The questions that you did respond to, the questions that you did answer. So we start with those. And the faculty, sometimes we maybe take turns asking questions. Sometimes we may jump in, or we have a question, or we sort of just kind of back and forth. Sometimes it's one faculty, then another faculty member, then another faculty member. It goes in different ways. So we start with the questions you responded to. Then we get to the questions that you did not respond to. And after we feel that we've sufficiently, asked you enough questions and that you have, demonstrated your knowledge and you've shared with us everything that you'd like to share, and that we've gone through all of the questions, then we ask you to leave the room while we deliberate. And we tell you all this ahead of time. This is what we're going to do. This is the process. So we have you leave the room, and then we ask you to come back, and then we share our results with you. There are any number of options. One might be to either rewrite the entire exam, or rewrite a portion of the exam, maybe just focusing on one question, or maybe a combination of questions. And then either, I know in gerontology sometimes I've had a student write maybe on a combination of 2 questions, then they submit that to me, then I review it and have the final say. Sometimes committee members want to see it, sometimes not, then I'll have the final say about that, and do not bring them to another orals. Sometimes the student will do a complete rewrite, so written's all over again, and redo orals.